Hello, my gentlemen and gentle people with male voices. This video is for you today. We are talking about how to use head voice for the male singer. So let me preface this video by saying, I am not a man. I do not have a male voice, and you are hearing it from someone who personally cannot relate exactly to what you are experiencing. However, from years of studying voice and years of teaching voice with male students and hearing their experiences and helping them navigate that part of their voice, I certainly have a tip or two and some insight into how to navigate this. But let me walk you through this video. We are going to first talk about range, then registers, then the passaggio, and then head voice and what it is and how to use it. So we have to have a little backup before we get to that point. And then to preface all that, I want to let you know, please, 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 do not try any of this at home unless you have warmed up your voice first. It's vital you warm up your voice so you don't hurt yourself, and also just it makes singing easier. And if you don't know how to warm up your voice or you want some warm-ups, there's a quick 5-minute warm-up in here on my channel. Or if you want more in-depth technical warm-ups that will help you develop a strong foundation for your voice, you can go down below to check out my Sing Smarter Toolkit. It provides you hours of warm-ups, tutorials, practice guides, and the tools you need to build a solid foundation. To quote one of the students who joined that course, they said that this is a course that includes all the info that you could never find just by searching YouTube. It goes way more in depth than anything you'll find on YouTube. So if you want it for the price of less than one voice lesson, you can check that out down below. Okay, let's get started. So let's talk about your voice as you have this range, which is lowest note to highest note, right? That's your range. And within your range, you have registers. So those are parts of your voice that feel comfortable in like your low, mid, high range, or register, I should say. And these registers resonate in different parts of your body. Typically, your low register resonates in your chest. Your mid range resonates in a mixture of your chest and your head. And then your high range or falsetto resonates solely in the head. So now that we know the differences between range and register, let's talk about how you divide the registers up. So each register is divided by this transition point between them called a passaggio. Passaggio is Italian for changeover. I'm using a lot of Italian words here because that's just what we use in classical music, and it is a part of the bel canto school of singing, the beautiful singing school of singing. It's a school of thought. So we have the passaggi, plural. You have a lower one and a higher one. The lower passaggio or register shift is typically from your lowest chest voice into your mid range, where you kind of it mixes a lot of chest, but there's a little bit of resonance in the head, the mouth, and the sinuses. And then you have your upper passaggio. This is the one we're really going to be talking about today. This higher upper passaggio or upper register shift is the difference between your full, what most men depict or view as their full voice or their chest voice, and it switches to their falsetto. It's typically the place where a man's voice will skip, an untrained male voice will skip multiple notes, like that, from full voice into falsetto. So that gap is so frustrating for a lot of men out there. And I know because a lot of men come to me saying, I really want to figure out how to navigate that part of my voice. I don't know how to do that. And you listen to these great classical tenors like Pavarotti, and he's just singing these incredibly high notes, full voice, or so it seems. He's really using what's called head voice. And head voice is a great trick that in short is the illusion of full voice. Now, women easily access head voice a lot more easily than men. In fact, we don't really have falsetto unless you consider whistle tone falsetto, like what Mariah Carey does. But falsetto is literally the tips of your vocal folds barely touching, and that's what creates the falsetto, the high range. But women, our vocal cords fully adduct and come together even in our high range. And so it might sound like our full voice, but what's really happening is we're resonating entirely in our sinuses. Oftentimes it's an experience that's out of body, like it feels like we're singing up here. So to relate that to the male experience of singing, head voice is where you resonate in this kind of part of your body. It's entirely up here. If I put my hand right here, I'm not really feeling it resonate or vibrate my chest at all, unless I go down here. And this is more of a mix of chest voice and head voice. So it's this darker Julia Child kind of sound. As silly as it sounds, or as silly as it is to do that, that is what head voice is. It resonates solely up here in the sinuses. So when we're singing, what you want to do is to bridge the gap, rather, between your full voice and your falsetto in that upper register shift. You want to incorporate a little bit of head voice a few notes prior to that switch. That's how you bridge the gap. So using head voice as a way to I guess, blend the chest voice into the falsetto. That's what head voice does. It's like the bridge between those two. It's the binding agent, the glue to keep them together instead of this multi-note gap from full voice to falsetto. You want head voice in there. So if I'm singing a little bit lower, let's say I'm going to try singing right here. This is maybe, I don't have perfect pitch, but maybe this is easy for me to sing full out as a male. And it's close to my passaggio, so I'm going to add a little bit of head voice, just like 5%. Notice how I'm adding a little bit of this quality, a little bit of that quality to it. And then I go up a note and I add a little bit more head voice. And I go up a note and I add more head voice. And I go up a note and there's a lot more head voice, if you notice that shift. And I go up a note, it's entirely in head voice. And as we go up, it's almost entirely there. There's like no chest voice. And granted, it's hard for me to demonstrate this without a male voice, but you get the point. You incorporate 5% head voice in a few notes prior, and then another 5%, and then another 5%, to the point where suddenly you are almost entirely in head voice. It is the illusion of continuing chest voice when really you're using head voice. Hopefully, this explanation has helped you conceptualize what head voice is and how to use it and what it means. When someone says, what is head, you got to use head voice. Now you know what it means. But something I think you really need to do is either find a professional singer in your community who is a male, who has a male voice, who can help you, or a male voice teacher, or a really great YouTube resource who I love is the tenor Jose, I'm gonna butcher his name, Jose Simerilla Romero. Jose, S-I-M-E-R-I-L-L-A, Simerilla. I think that's how you pronounce it, Romero. He's a tenor. He's an operatic tenor singing all over the world in operas, but he has a phenomenal YouTube channel for tenors. And even if you're not a tenor, if you're a baritone or a bass, it doesn't matter. He has so many good tenor talks, is what he calls them. Tenor Talk Part 5 is the one you need to listen to specifically. So now that you know the basics and you know some jargon, go over to his channel, go listen to him, and I think you're going to find a lot of really good information on how to sing with head voice. Hope this helps. Let me know if you have additional questions in the comments. Otherwise, I will see you next Friday for another video vocal tip. Happy singing, and I'll see you then.